I wish I could snap my fingers and instantaneously take away pain and dysfunction from others. Believe me, as a physical therapist, nothing would make me happier than to work myself out of a job and find a new career that didn't involve seeing others in pain. Not because I don't like what I do, far from it in fact, but because I have a heart for others and I don't like seeing them in pain. In a perfect world, pain wouldn't exist and I'd be just fine with that. I could find plenty of other meaningful pursuits worth chasing down within this life outside the world of physical rehabilitation. I'm very aware that you know nothing about me, but it's worth knowing that I know what it's like to be injured and the dark mental roads that we can find ourselves traveling when dealing with nasty pain, being it acute or chronic pain. And a few years ago, I started this YouTube channel because I wanted to help others navigate that world and perhaps serve as a small, humble beacon of hope for those who may need it. So let's get real about injuries. They can be scary to deal with, especially when we don't understand the nature of our injury or what the pain accompanying it means. Now, there can be annoying pain, the type that is a nuisance but goes away after a week or two, and then there can be stubborn pain that doesn't seem to go away despite what you do, or the pain that's so intense that it makes you wonder if you'll ever get your life back. And that's arguably the toughest thing about being injured, the fact that you simply can't just put your life on pause until you get things under control and back to full health. Pain and injury doesn't care whether it's a convenient or inconvenient time to experience its presence. Obviously, I don't know anything about your situation and the pain or injuries you may be dealing with, but what I'd like to do here, if nothing else, is to give you some insight and some initial steps that you can consider taking when it comes to dealing with these situations. If I can help point you in the right direction before you embark on your journey of recovery, or help plant some seeds of insight that can help you with a more optimal mindset, it might just be enough to help take the physical or emotional edge off of what can otherwise feel like an overwhelming issue. So with that preamble out of the way, let's talk about some low-hanging fruits that you can go after that can help make a difference with taking the edge off of this situation. If you're feeling physically or emotionally overwhelmed with your injury or current condition, the first step that I would advocate would be for you to take a deep breath, take a step back, and just remember that you're not alone in this situation. That's in no way an attempt to dismiss or downplay the situation you find yourself in. Rather, it's my way of gently reminding you that pain and injuries are something that happen to us all. And simply remembering this can be profoundly helpful to those who feel like they've been put on an island and are stranded and alone. I promise you that if you feel like you're on Injury Island all by yourself, you're not the only individual who is inhabiting it. There are plenty of other individuals on this island who, like you, are trying to find their way back to the metaphorical mainland in their regular life. So keep this in mind. There's strength in numbers, and if you're in need of some company, there are various groups and threads online that you can become a part of who can serve as an online community to help you along your way. The second thing that I'd advocate for would be to try your best to stay in the present. That is, to be mindful and ground yourself to the current moment and not allow your mind to drift into the future and think of the seemingly infinite what-if scenarios that it can conjure up. This technique of staying connected to the present is often known as grounding or mindfulness, and it's a technique that can be helpful for those like me who struggle with anxiety and find their minds constantly looking to the future and conjuring up the unfavorable scenarios that can arise if things go terribly wrong. Becoming aware of my thought patterns and trying to pull myself back to the present has been extremely helpful for me over the years as I've faced my own battles of both the physical and emotional variety. It can help prevent what's known as catastrophization, which in this case of physical pain and injury can lead to us becoming even more sensitive and reactive to our pain or current situation. If you're fearful of your pain or want to understand it a bit more, or if you're scared that it's going to ruin your life, it may be worth checking out a book by David Butler and Lorimer Moseley called Explain Pain. This book provides helpful information on the world of physical pain and what it signifies. I'll leave a link to the book below. Another profoundly helpful step to take when dealing with injuries is to start educating yourself to the best of your abilities about the injury that you're up against. Education goes a longer way than what most individuals realize. It helps prevent catastrophization, helps you to feel like you've got a sense of control over your situation, and it helps you to avoid making mistakes while doubling down on the right things to do when it comes to your rehabilitation. Whether it's chatting with a qualified individual or utilizing helpful resources online, a basic understanding of your injury or condition is your first line of defense when formulating a battle plan to overcome what you're up against. Lastly, try your best to find ways to keep moving, no matter how small, gentle, or easy any movement might feel. Now, this can be a tricky scenario to navigate, especially when you feel that everything hurts or you don't know what's causing your pain. Naturally, I'd advocate that you get a professional evaluation for your condition so that you can get some guidance here. But at at the end of the day, know that chronic stillness for your body can often create many new physical and emotional problems. Generally speaking, you don't want your pain to worsen with any physical activities or feel worse after you've completed them, but it's important to remember that physical activity can be a physical medicine for the body when given in the right amount, the right intensity, and the right frequency. And lastly, don't give up hope. In my years of treating and training others, I can tell you through my anecdotal experiences that the individuals who have the best outcomes are those who choose to find ways to consistently physically move while finding something to be grateful about within their circumstances. Now that can, of course, be much easier said than done, but remember that if you have hope, you have hope. So let's start with that for this video. There's so much more that needs to be addressed, but these brief bits of insight can certainly help point you in the right direction for starting to navigate the world of pain and injuries. I'll be making plenty more of these videos, so if you're down to learn more, consider subscribing to this channel. And if you want to help spread the word of how to begin navigating the world of pain and injury, consider hitting the like button so we can spread the word to others for how to start taking back their lives and overcoming physical pain and dysfunction. All right, everyone, keep making great things happen. I will see you in the next video.